Hello, all you gorgeous folks. As per usual, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast. Hello to you, Zan. How's it going?
Hey, what's good, Jake? Don't ask me that question. You know how it's going.
It's busy. It's stressful. There's a lot going on in gaming and esports.
It snowed in the desert.
Yes. If you guys don't know, we're from Las Vegas. It snowed not once, not twice, 3 times in a single week. And those are like the 3 of the 4 times I've ever seen snow here in the past 3 years.
Yeah, before this, it was like a 2-year gap. And then before that, it was like a decade-long gap since the last time we had snow.
Yeah, I looked outside and I was like, I know Zan's going to be fricked up today. If you guys don't know, Zan just not really human. So he gets really fricked up when there's any sort of weather.
I'm selectively human.
But besides the crazy weather, there was also plenty of crazy things we did not see coming in the esports and gaming scene. So as per usual, we hope you guys all enjoy. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get into it. And first and foremost, Xanifer, not surprising, whenever he speaks, people tend to hate. You know exactly already who I'm talking about.
Ninja. I have a really good feeling it might just be Ninja.
You are correct, sir.
Wow.
In a New York Times interview this past week, which actually was a great interview, very extensive, some questions were asked, though, where it seems whenever you allow Ninja to answer a question, there are good parts, and then he keeps on going, and the wording eventually fights back against him.
Yeah.
He was actually caught in headlines saying that parents should be teaching their own kids, which I think a lot of people at the very, very core would agree with. He then goes on to bring in subjects of racism, white privilege, very serious topics, and this is where the wording almost fought against him, like I said before.
Yeah.
The overall argument agreed with. Ninja keeps talking. That's where the headlines bite back out of context and really blow things up.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a consistent problem Ninja has. Like, there's a good 75% of any individual statement he puts out there or interview or appearance he does that's probably, it's all right. It's never, like, it's not banger, but it's pretty solid, you know?
Yeah.
Solid points being made. He's a great personality in a lot of ways, right? But then there's that 25% that consistently gets him. There's that one shot of him cutting bread. There's, like, but...
That's true.
Yeah. But nobody has problems with the rest of that entire thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's a chill appearance.
You instantly think back to it's not just a game. That tweet, right? That so many people inside gaming agreed with, and then parents caught wind of it, and they're like, "Well, you're calling my kid a loser because he loses." Like, they take it to such extremes where there's no chance that Ninja can ever word these things perfectly, but certainly he probably could word them a bit better,
a little bit more delicately, perhaps. He should be aware that people are coming at this with every magnifying glass possible. Like, how can we look at this a slightly different way?
I know. Yeah. I think it's overall such an interesting topic because I do believe heavily in this space. There are so many things that some streamers or pros or players can say that others simply cannot and get away with in the same manner.
Right.
And now forever, given Ninja's past, he's had controversies. He's had very polarizing statements. And so now forever, even if they're relevant or irrelevant, they're going to be brought back up. And especially now because I think outside looking in, when parents see this, when parents only read the headlines, don't read the details. They see a blue-haired boy who just made $30 million playing video games, and they get a bit probably angered by that.
Yeah, probably.
Is that unfair for me to say?
I think that's very fair, especially if you think in the context of the gamers, or rather the parents reading these articles.
Imagine being a parent.
They probably aren't gamers, right?
Probably not.
So this is probably their first PC games article they've read all year.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they're seeing Ninja there is calling them bad parents.
Yep.
Because they're not teaching them, everything about racism or about behaving properly online. And they're like, I don't know what they're doing online. This is on me. This is your fault for saying these things around my children.
Yeah.
There's no winning here.
For sure. And I think certainly if you take it out of context and don't read the full details, which aren't always there, right? So many people read a headline.
Not in the headline. It's impossible to get all the details in the headline. There are character limits.
Yeah, like just try and picture you're a parent. All of a sudden headlines are out there about blue-haired boy who is a rich, very, very now well-off gamer out there who is now telling you that you're the reason why your kids are possibly toxic or don't know these things. It's just so many things nowadays.
This is why your kid says the N-word.
Yeah, it's like
your fault.
So many people either think that way or just gets twisted that way. And ever since, at the point of us recording, Ninja's now taken at least 3, maybe now 4 days off.
Yeah.
It's sucky to see all around, hopefully a learning situation. But I think luckily enough, the gaming scene community, after reading into all the details, generally had Ninja's back.
All right, Jake, my my first story for today is more of a speculatory, talky one.
Speculatory.
Yeah.
Speculative.
Yeah.
You're using my kind of words now.
I felt like speculative was too, like, passe.
Yeah, dude.
I felt like, let's spice it up a little bit.
Dude, I was talking about a Warzone streamer this week, and instead of saying well-known Warzone streamer, I said well-zoned Warzone streamer. So I'm right
well,
there.
Hey, that's probably accurate, though. He's probably a well-known Warzone streamer because he's in the right zones of Warzone.
No, don't make up defenses for me.
No, you're fine.
So let's speculate.
Let's speculate a little bit. So we have some big news coming out last month, actually. I'm only touching on this month because we've had some additional info to back it. We now know that Halo is coming out in fall 2021.
Sorry, what game?
Halo.
What's that? Sorry. I am so sorry.
That was mean, Jay.
It's 2021, and my goodness, okay, hit me with it.
Yeah, Halo Infinite has essentially disappeared from the limelight after a rather disastrous demo back in last July, I believe it was, June or July, summer months. And, they basically took the game back into the studio. They're like, hey, guys, we're going to sit down. We're going to work on it. We're going to make it better. As part of that, at the end of last year, they basically confirmed that, hey, the game is coming out in fall of 2021. That's our target date. Pretty much everybody assumed that, even though the more optimistic people were like, oh, no, they can make it the spring.
Most of us assumed it was a very, very ambitious timeline.
Mm-hmm. But, hey, at least it's fall and not the holiday season. What I kind of want to bring up here, though, is how I think this is actually very slowly positioning Halo to be a sleeper hit for esports, gaming, and streaming come the end of the year.
Jesus Christ, here we go. Okay.
I
want to make it very clear I don't agree with this take. I hope you're right. Okay, I'm not a hater, but please tell me you have some backing as to why.
Here's everything.
You think Halo's gonna be, dude? You've been doing this lately. You think Halo's gonna be a freaking hit in 2021?
But normally I call the play way down the line, and then I'm right at least briefly. Nobody believed me when I said Fall Guys were going to pop off, and then all of a sudden,
you called the rise of Fall Guys borderline Among Us.
Obviously, it died.
But but you did call the insane rise. So hit me with some actual.
Okay, here's what's happening with Halo Infinite. The whole reason they took this game back to the drawing board was because everybody realized, hey, it's really not measuring up to other modern games out there. But that's not to say other modern games out there are necessarily in the best state either. When you just look at something like Warzone, in fact, you have tons of people who, why is Nick Merckx playing Warzone at base level? Probably not because Call of Duty is the best game ever made. Probably because it's free. He can play with a lot of his friends.
He's an FPS-backed player. Yeah. It's where his base is. Mm-hmm. And there's a generally big audience, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting gameplay, lots of vehicle action. You drop it in from the sky, a lot of different, interactions that can happen there, right? Thing is, Halo's coming out at the end of the year. Is going to be doing the same thing, probably a little bit more polished than Call of Duty. And I think what part of the issues we've heard mentioned by pros recently, I think Scump and Krim maybe even been talking about this earlier this week. And
plenty of other names, I'm sure you can't really miss with that one.
Like talking about how COD constantly faces this issue of yearly iteration.
Dude, let me
having to fix things every year.
Let me slap you back right away. We've had this discussion in the past. There's not going to be a battle royale, according to you, for Halo.
There's going to be big team battle, though, which I would argue is better.
Okay, you'd argue, but we have no idea.
We have no idea.
The viewership for Battle Royales is still ginormous with Fortnite and, of course, with Warzone as well. It's a great viewing type of game. If Halo can't somewhat get in the same realm of that, there's just no chance. If it's not going to... Of course, party mode games are also doing very, very well.
Of course. I think a large part of the reason Battle Royales have been so successful is that, that atmosphere of getting so many people on one map together, that chaos, that energy that a Battle Royale brings to you, that hit the ground running, pick up items across the map, it's frenetic, you get this very unique gameplay experience.
And you can team up with streamers, 1, 2, 3, 4 of you.
Yeah, and Big Team Battle for Halo will do similar things, arguably based off of past experiences with that and everything they've said about it thus far.
Do we know details about it?
We know that there's going to be, they just confirmed that equipment will drop randomly on the map.
Is this going to be a Battle Royale styled game, or?
I think it's going to be, Big Team Battle's been around since before Battle Royale.
Are you trying to say 50v50 or what kind of?
We don't know numbers yet.
Okay.
But, Big Team Battle is usually pretty large. It's in the 10 digits. Several, I would not be surprised if we get up to 100 people on the map at one go.
Yeah, but it really comes down to team sizes, right?
Yeah, it does. But all I'm saying is I think they have a shot. Not only that, but they're gonna have anti-cheat.
Okay. All right. That's a good dagger. That's a good one. I think no matter what happens, obviously people are going to try Halo. Why I'm hesitant, I think, is for obvious reasons,
Of course.
with the issues they've had over the past 6 to 8 months, however it might be. But the game modes, obviously, and how the game runs are so important. I will give you one string, though, that I agree with you. If they can do these big team battles and somehow work it into almost like a party game mode where it's like, you and 9 top streamers are facing off against 9 other streamers or 10 other streamers in team blue, red, green, whatever, if they can somehow do that kind of angle. But if we're talking about 50v50, 30v30, I feel like that dies out kind of fast.
I'm feeling pretty confident because I think Halo has a really strong gameplay loop at its core. And based on what we now know from yesterday's announcement, the game is done, essentially. They're just working on the polish, they're working on the graphics, which is the main issue people had problems with, not the gameplay. So if the gameplay is solid and it has anti-cheat and we know multiplayer is going to be free, then I think Warzone might have some solid competition come the end of the year.
I think it's fair to argue with the current arc of Fortnite and, of course, with Warzone's cheater struggle, that any new Battle Royale that has potential is going to have more potential than typically than, a couple of years ago Fortnite or like a year ago Warzone. Obviously, both games still tremendously popular, but now have very, very apparent issues. So I would think any game, including Halo, would have a bigger chance this year, but it all comes down to how this game...
It comes down to execution.
And we've seen it time and time again. These things can flop or fly right off the gate, right out of the gate. So
last point I make is that I think we have a better shot with 343 listening to the community and really building out their esports scene than we have had with Epic Games or Activision Blizzard. Because Activision Blizzard and Epic Games are both in a place of they're safe. They're making all their money, they're chilling, they don't really have to say anything about anti-cheat or say anything about diminishing prize pools. People are going to be there. 343 has to respond like that. We saw them, we saw them push a game back over a year. One of the biggest launch titles of the console generation. I'm feeling good about it.
I'm right there with you. Yeah. Just do a battle royale. If it would have been a straight up, they called a battle royale, I think you're right. It makes a mark. But if they're going to play it off as something a bit different, even that can hurt at first glance. I'm excited, but you're saying that Halo 2021 has a real chance to make a hit.
Absolutely. I'm feeling good about it. Hey, we already got C9, Envy, and Sentinels on board.
Too many teams have. Yeah. But, I mean, of course, best of luck to those players as well. Hopefully there are actual competitions that come alongside these big announcements. Zan says Halo is big in 2021. We will come back to this moment.
Fact check me in 2022. By all means, please do.
Zan, we all knew that cheaters were not going to stop this year, right?
What?
I mean, is there ever going to be a point in history where we're like, all right, this is the year we stop freaking cheaters?
Cheaters in gaming? I am shocked. For one, can you even imagine that? Who would? I'm just trying to process this new information.
Who would ever want to gain an unfair advantage in any sense of the matter?
Why would you want to cheat in a video game?
Dude, it's crazy that someone listening right now is. I want to cheat. Like, I do cheat.
They're like, I don't understand what you're... Is this a joke they're making? Obviously I'm cheating. What are you talking about?
Like, I got to keep up with other cheaters. Why would I not? Either way, despite the jokes, it's actually Valorant seeing a rise in, I would say, cheaters being caught. So it's actually good headlines as opposed to Warzone, where it's kind of just accusations.
Cheaters are being caught?
Jesus Christ. What a year 2020.
Right?
We are finally now catching our first ever cheaters in video games.
Yeah, right.
I actually want to reference 3 different videos we covered ourselves. 3 different types of Valorant cheaters. The first was a Movistar tryout. He lasted 3 matches before his own teammates reported him. Upon riot investigation, Rapaz Triste was then caught by his own teammates. Movistar luckily catching this ahead of time. God forbid you make it to a LAN with this guy.
Right.
And you're like, what's the USB for? Like, why is your mouse 2 times the size of mine?
That's an interestingly... I don't think I've seen a mouse dongle that looks like that. Why is there like a huge skull
it's fine.
On that? Yeah.
Alongside that, a guy known as Reflect, who I apparently was following on Twitter. Apparently, he was following a bunch of people, had been a viewer for a lot of people out there, because I received so many DMs when he went down. He was caught in a scrim against Dignitas' female lineup, and thus has ever since deleted all social media, which, by the way, is a great thing to do if you're innocent.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the first thing I would do.
If you ever wake up and my Twitter is deleted, you got to text me like, yo, what'd you do?
I'm not texting you. I'm driving to your house. I'm knocking on your door and going, Jake.
What did you do? I'm like, I'm innocent.
Jake, what emails do I have to send today?
Very lastly, the most recent one was actually a guy known as Zaid in the Indian Valorant scene. He has now been caught technically by his teammates upon further investigation as well, has admitted his guilt. He did not cheat in competitive matches. He said he only cheated in ranked matches as a pro player, did not cheat in events, got so frustrated by cheaters inside ranked and wanted Radiant so bad that he cheated in ranked.
Which is literally the only version of that I can understand. You know, to some extent.
We have seen a lot of complaints about that, though.
Yeah,
Not only
yeah.
the fact that Valorant ranked is just a toxic mush, but it's also very tough to grind through to Radiant and reach
Right.
that top level. But the fact there are cheaters, you know, it's just crazy to me. The mindset's like, okay, I'll just cheat in ranked. I'll be fine when I compete on my team.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Riot for at least addressing these issues
Yeah.
relatively quickly.
They've been investigated pretty quickly compared to, you know, the no investigations that happened by Activision.
Activision pretending that anti-cheat is not a thing that exists.
I'm holding,
Nobody
I'm
knows
holding
about
back.
that.
I'm holding back. We've mentioned it pretty much every story, but it has to be mentioned.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to see the variety of Valorant so far in cheating,
Right.
and these stories are pretty crazy. But at the very least, they are coming forward, and it should be hopefully a learning lesson for other pros out there to be like, okay, just because I want to cheat in ranked does not mean I probably should. So far, it seems a lot of people are being caught.
Or at least be better at hiding. it.
Okay.
At least. That's the part that always
Those cheaters that are listening are like, yes, Sam,
Well,
yes.
I'm not saying anything new. I'm just like shocked that like a pro player will be playing on their account and be like, I'm just gonna load up a sneaky little cheat real quick.
Yeah.
While I'm streaming, while I'm being very public about what I'm doing right now. Like, okay, if you got to do it, if you got to do the bad thing, why endanger your entire career at the same time?
At least think it through a little bit.
Yeah. Think
Especially
about it,
for a ranked match cheating.
Right, yeah.
But it is really, it's very, very crazy for all of these people now, because at the end of the day, you realize these people, it came down to a single moment of being caught. Your names are out there forever. In
Yeah,
the news, not by
100%.
us, but by tons of headlines, right? Valorant is the rising FPS, and you were the pro that was on a pro team, and you decided to cheat and have been caught.
Not just a pro, one of the first. Considering how new Valorant is,
Very, very true.
those names are gonna sit for a while.
And we're going to be keeping on covering them because they do keep on rolling in. So Valorant cheaters are a thing. Luckily, it seems Vanguard and Riot are catching at least some of them.
All right, Jake, we have to talk about it. There's no avoiding it. One of the biggest stories in gaming because it's being touted as a worldwide revolution, potentially.
Oh, no.
Or at least in the U.S.
I
We'll have
thought we
to
were
see.
going to avoid this.
We have to. How
Stonks!
can we not?
I want to preface, if you guys are watching or listening, I never, and we've been doing this for at least a decent amount, I have never seen Twitter so covered by pro players, streamers, even gaming and esports people all alike, either shilling their own stocks or, like, of course, being a part of this movement. I almost had to get off Twitter, but I can't because it's my job. Everybody
and their moms, too. It's the craziest thing to
Oh
see
my
people
God.
who have just like, to see this shift. Of course, those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with the situation, I highly recommend you go check out our coverage on it. Hunter made 2 excellent videos on GameStop.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
see, yeah.
GameStop stocks.
I'm getting too used to like
GameStop
stocks.
stonks.
Yeah,
It's just really tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of whew. But anyway, fascinating situation over there. But I love this shift all of a sudden from the gaming audience in particular, because a lot of people don't like GameStop.
I mean, very, very true. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people throwing shade, but all of a sudden everybody's now behind GameStop 100%.
For nothing that they
They're
did.
like, yeah, of course. And nothing that GameStop did, nothing that's really actually going to benefit GameStop, even in the slightest. It's just,
Like, we had a couple stories in 2020 ragging on GameStop, and for good reason.
Yeah.
And everyone knows a GameStop employee at least at one point, or has been at one maybe just once or twice, and has gotten a terrible deal. So it's kind of a meme, right?
Yeah.
And just for the meme culture, we all of a sudden have a Reddit page. I've looked WallStreetBets, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, they start this movement that has not stopped ever since. It was not just a one-day affair. This is now
Right.
going on a week-long affair. It's not only just GameStop. Now it's just random stocks.
Yeah, it's just like AMC theaters. Like,
Yeah.
let's slide through.
Oh, it's
see
a
what's
dog
good.
that has a coin? Doge? For sure.
Well, to be fair, Dogecoin has been around for a minute.
I know,
You
but
gotta
it's-
be on Dogecoin.
Oh
right?
my God. The amount of people are like, I got 100,000 Dogecoin. And it's like, it's crazy, but definitely why we bring it up is because GameStop was the start. And I think a gaming community portion has been a big play in this so far.
I think it's been the large thing that's really been driving the ship here.
Like, we want to take credit for this.
Yeah, we are taking credit from this. Esports Talk claims credit for the Wall Street.
For all gamers.
And on behalf of the gaming community.
I have zero of any of these stocks, but I am part of the movement.
Yeah, I think it is, if nothing else, this is like such a perfect example of the energy that the gaming community brings to something like this the second everybody's on the same page. Because I guarantee you, half the people behind this don't know anything about stocks, don't know anything about any of the
Buy
apps
a share
involved.
or two, just help.
Yeah, they're like...
They're going to lose money probably after all is
100%.
said and done, but they're like, I'm a part of a movement.
Yeah, and I think gamers more than anything, this is going to put us in such a nice place to start off 2021. This gives us so much juice just to be like, hey, if you want something to happen, get the gamers on board.
Yeah, if you want something done, talk about it. I hate to bring it up again. The only one disproving this theory is Activision, because we've had everyone and their mom talking about no anti-cheat. But hopefully that will also change this year. I mean, it's the power of social media, and especially a powerful community we are luckily a part of. It's just, I don't know. It's so insane to know that this just happened. And we've seen it for better or worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when people talk poorly, like when random, people outside the industry talk poorly of gaming, and all of a sudden people start quoting that tweet beyond belief.
And then people dox that person.
I mean, no bang click, right? Whatever his name was, saying that streamers should pay to play. That's a prime example of something in the same vein, not necessarily, but you understand the power behind.
Yeah, that same kind of dog pile, more in the negative sense and the positive. Not to say homie was in the right.
Yeah.
Dude said some rather ignorant stuff, but,
the gaming community
with great power
is the most powerful community out there.
Great responsibility.
Yeah, and we are not responsible yet.
We're not there yet. Yeah.
But we are slowly getting there. So if you guys did take part in GameStop stock stonks, congratulations to you.
Indeed.
We are so powerful. Yeah, as per usual, we hope you guys all enjoy the Esports Rewind podcast. As per usual, all you listeners, all you viewers, we appreciate you stopping by. All right, make sure to leave a comment down below. Zan, hit him with that outro.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in for this week's Esports Rewind podcast. By all means, if you'd like to listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your podcast on the go, you can find us as part of the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That's PREEDICTION. We're right there alongside a lot of other fantastic esports and gaming podcasts. So by all means, go check us out. Help support us there. It does help. Shout out to all of our audio listeners. Thanks for tuning in. You can also find us on YouTube at Esports Talk for daily esports news content, as well as esportstalk.com. We're on Twitter at talk_esports, Instagram esports_talk, TikTok, esports talk. So by all means, swing through, hit us up. We always appreciate your comments, DMs, and all the above.
Yeah, we love DMs. You guys are so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, until next time, take care of yourselves, gamers. We'll catch you back here next week.